Hey everybody, so something a little more informal today because we're actually going to go to school, all right? Now, early in my journey, at any point in my journey, I suppose, and I'm sure in your journey, at some point you've come across a video of somebody, maybe they have a big whiteboard set up or whatever it is, and they show you how to find the notes of a scale, in this case, the major scale, right? And they show you the formula, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, and they go through everything. And it's like, wow, yeah, this makes sense. And you get to the point halfway through the video that you go like, okay, I'll bet you that next one's a B. And he says B, and you go, oh, this is amazing. I'm so getting this, right? So you watch the video, then the video ends. And you say to yourself, okay, wait a minute. Now, how the hell does this pertain to my guitar playing? What do I do with this? I don't know what to do with it. I know how to find these notes, but how does that equate to my guitar playing, and how does it make me better or whatever? All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go from beginning to end. Yes, I'm going to take you to school and show you that, but then we're going to see how it relates to actually playing the guitar at our level, right? Okay, here we go. So the first thing we got to do is go to school. And we already know that in the major scale, there's a formula, right? And it's whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, right? Okay, I prefer to use numbers because a whole step is 2 frets on a guitar and a half is 1. So I call it 2-2-1, 2-2-2-1, right? So as per our last video, I equate it to a pizza number. You're ordering a pizza, 2-2-1, 2-2-2-1, right? Made it easier to remember for me. So I'm gonna write those across here, 2-2-1, 2-2-2-1, okay? There's my pizza number. And now, this information is for people that, well, we're going to that open jam. Now, I've been to a number of these things, and I'm going to tell you it can be a real crap show, okay? Unless someone says to me, okay, here's the chord progression, here's what I'm playing, here's how many beats in a bar, here's when I'm transitioning from one chord to another. If that isn't given to me, I'm like, I don't want to be guessing, and I got to watch the guy or the girl and see when, try to pick it all. And I'm nervous, and I don't want to be an idiot or look like I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm not asking questions. So I will generally not bother playing along, chord for chord, okay? Because you're not going to know what they're doing. Again, unless they're very well organized, okay? Or if they say, hey, we're playing the 12-bar blues, key of E with a turnaround. Well, then I know, okay, it's the key of E, it's the 1-4-5 chord combination, and I know there's a little turnaround at the end, and I know how many beats in every chord, so I can play along. I know what's going on. But unless that's the case, if it's not, I don't bother. I instead decide I'll just play some notes from the key that they're playing in. That way, I can play any of those notes, and while I may not sound like Eddie Van Halen, I'm going to sound pretty darn good, okay? So that's what we're going to do now, is find out what those notes are that we need to be able to play, right? Now, all this in a good guitarist goes through his head like that. Key of E, oh yeah, I'm on it. And now they know all the notes, okay? Well, I know a guy who writes this out for every key and tapes it to the back of his guitar so that when someone says, we're in the key of E, he just looks at the back of his guitar and he's got it all written out, okay? You decide what's best for you. So using this formula, and we're going to use the key of E because it's challenging. There's lots of sharps and flats. And it's definitely a key in an open jam I probably wouldn't play along to because it's mostly bar chords, and I don't play bar chords. So, all right, so what I'm going to do is here's my formula. I'm going to write my E right here, right? So we're in the E. My next chord, or my next note would be 2 up from there, so that would be an F sharp, right? Because there's no E sharp, so it'd be F, F sharp. And we got to go two more. There's my G sharp, and one goes to an A, okay? And then two more would be my B, two more would be a C sharp, two more would be a D sharp, and then finally my last one would be the octave. So there's the 7 notes, there's the octave. So there's the notes if somebody is playing in the key of E. They could be playing any chords. They could be playing E, they could be playing, F sharp, they could be playing whatever, A flat, whatever the chord is in that key. Any of these notes will sound, well, they'll sound okay. Some will sound amazing, but none of them will sound terrible. I could play just a couple of those notes. I could play the whole darn scale if I wanted to in different ways and make it as intricate as I wanted. But realistically, you take 3 notes, maybe 4, okay? And you noodle around while they're playing and you will sound just fine. All right, so the video's over. We found our notes, right? And this is the part where I used to always say, huh? I understood that, but now how does that relate to my guitar playing? Okay, so let's take a look at that. So the first thing we need to do is we want to find those notes on our guitar, right? E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, and E. Where are they? Well, in the open position, which is up here, and it's where we play our open chords, right? We'll start there. So E, open E, okay? E. Our next is F sharp, so we know if we fret E at the second, we have our F sharp, and the next note is the G sharp, so we have that. So now we have E, those 3, right? Okay. Now we have an A. Now, because we have to go up the 1. So we could just keep going to the A. And we can go to the B, and the C sharp, and the D sharp, and the E. But now we're playing those notes along one scale. So we very rarely play the notes in order. So now that means I might be like, whatever, back and forth, that kind of stuff. And it's a pain in the neck. And the voicings can change a little bit because they're going to sound a little different up here than down there. So we want to stay here. So my next logical way to get the A is to play the open A. Okay? And then from the A, I have to go to a B. So I know A, second fret is a B. Then we got to go to C sharp. And then we got to go to D sharp. So that's the D string, first fret. And then 1 up from there to end it is our octave E. So our scale becomes, right? Does that make sense? There's our E major scale that we wrote out on the book. Great. How does that help me? Well, we can now take that and play it anywhere. So Buddy's playing an E and an F sharp and a G sharp and an A, and he's playing these chords back and forth. Well, I could go to any E. Okay, so let's find this one. There's an E right here. Right? And I know 2 up is F sharp, 2 up is G sharp. Or I could go 2 up is F sharp, and my G sharp is right here. Right? Okay? So I could kind of, I would probably use, right? And now I know I have a B, so there's my B, there's my C sharp, and there's my D sharp. So now I know I've got, these 6 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if I just played those notes while they're jamming and chording on whatever chords in the E, the key of E, I'm going to sound just fine. And then I trust and use my ear to know what sounds better than fine. And you will sound just great. You will fit right in. You'll never have to play a chord. Just play the notes. As long as they're the notes, from the formula that produced the scale. I'm going to start an E-based chord progression, all right? So we're at the open jam. The chord progression is playing. All I have to do is find any E that I want to use. Once I find that E, I know I go up 2, there's my F sharp, and I go up 2 more and I got my G sharp. Those are my 3 notes, my first 3 notes in the scale. Now I also have an A and a B and a C sharp in the scale, right? Because as per the notes we wrote on the sheet, I can use any of those notes. So here we go. Let's start the progression. We can play the A here, or the E here, sorry. There's my E, F sharp. Here's my A. Now I can play my E here. As long as I play those notes from the scale. That's how it fits into your guitar playing. Do you need this? No, not at all. If you just want to Google chords and play songs, you don't need to know any of this about notes. Okay? So this is an approach to take when you just want to play along using the proper notes. And know that whatever note you play, it's within the scale because you used the formula to figure it out, or you did the cheater on the back of the guitar, and you're good to go. And once you found your E somewhere on the guitar, right? Now I can go anywhere. So I know I got 2, right? Whole, whole, see that? So I got an E. I know I can go 2, 2, 1, right? So I can go, and I'm going to sound fine. I hope this kind of makes a little sense, all right? I know it did for me, because there was a big, again, not knowing where to go after I watched these great videos these people put out and go, well, okay, so I know all the notes, so what do I do with them? There you go. All right, if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, anything like that, send them along, hey, have fun with this, okay? There's some great information here, but again, it all comes down to how you put that into play and how you use it in your practice routine, okay? So if you have, again, any questions, anything along the lines, send it along and we'll see you again soon. And remember, it is always all about the practice. Bye for now.